Good morning. Welcome to Mamie's Truth Podcast. I want to start off by saying I thank God for waking me up this morning, for making the path that He made just for me. Because if it had not been, where would I be? My passion is adoption. And I was taken away from my family, my mother, my father, my grandmother, at 5 months old. I want to also say I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a counselor. I'm just a person who went through adoption up until I was 14 years old. And I ended up in Raleigh, North Carolina. But I want to change topics just a little bit. I want to talk about PTSD. Those of us who has PTSD, we do not have it written across our forehead. Those of us who has panic attacks or any other anxiety that come our way. I suffer from all three. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. I suffer from anxiety. And I also suffer from panic attacks. With the PTSD, the traumatic event that occurred with me as a small child, it haunts me to this day. Sure, we go on with our lives. We got to maintain. But you wouldn't know that someone suffers with it if they don't say that. With PTSD, for me, the traumatic thing that occurred with me was to be in bed with a dead woman all night long. I was small. I was a child. I did not realize what was happening, but it affected me so deeply. It affected me. With my anxiety, I have flashbacks, and I also have nightmares about that. It's nervousness, worration, and accepting future events is what I have a problem dealing with my anxiety. My panic attacks come on swiftly, within minutes or seconds And the physical symptoms with that, for me, is a racing heart, shortness of my breath, and sometimes dizziness. Sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. The PTSD is memories of the past. Plain and simple. Memories of the past. And I know all of us in the world has went through one thing or another. In life. And I'm not trying to spew my situation upon no one. I'm strictly speaking of myself. And what I discovered and what I already knew in order to try to get a handle on it. Because you do live, like I said, we don't have it written across the forehead. We maintain everyday life. We do. Some has no choice but to do that. But it's difficult with me being around a lot of people. I don't do that. I choose not to do that because I know what triggers me and I know what I need to stay away from. And I make no apologies. Make no apologies about that. Some may understand. And there's a lot of them that don't understand. But that's for you guys to do the research on it. But PTSD is real. Anxiety is real. And panic attacks are real. And for some of us, it's more difficult to cope with a large body of people. I don't do it. I don't need to do it. And I don't have to do it. And it all comes back to my adoption. I want to say I appreciate those who is willing to adopt kids and bring them in your home. I applaud you because there's too many children out here in this world that needs a home, a good home. And I tell you, children come with layers. For me, I wasn't adopted until I was 14 years old. If you're adopting a baby, that's different. That's still very much so appreciated. But for kids such as myself, at 14, a lot of us came with layers. A lot of us came with issues. That's why it's very important to get to know that child. You have to pull back the layers slowly to get to know that child. For me, no one, and I do mean no one, asked any questions to me of how I was feeling, what I was thinking, where would I have liked to have been in my life later on in the years? What is my plans in life? No one asked those questions. And it was many other questions they should have asked, but did not. For a long time, I was so very angry and I was bitter with the hand that I was dealt with. I knew that there was something wrong, but I did not know what. As a child, I did not know what. It's a blessing to have your family around. It's truly a blessing. But for the kids that did not have no choice, they wanted love where they could find it. Because it was not the kids' fault that they was placed somewhere without their family. It's a blessing that you was, whoever you are, was with your biological family. Because we all want that. But for some of us, we don't have no choice. And I never had a choice. But I don't know if you was better off, a lot of you, than I was. I can't say. But what I can say is you don't know what people are going through in life. Be mindful of that. You don't know. With my anxiety and panic attacks, it's just truly hard for me to step beyond a boundary that I've set up for myself. If I go outside that boundary, I feel like I'm not in a safe place. So therefore, I stay in my safe place in life. I do. When I discovered and I started going to counselors about the things that was occurring that I did not understand. That I did not understand. When they touched on different things with me about me, it opened up my eyes a lot. We don't ask to go through trauma. We don't ask to be taken away from family. But when we are taken away from family, we want to get into a family that's safe and that loves us. And that's all I ever wanted. But unfortunately, that did not happen. It did not happen. Not for me. So, when you adopt someone's child, I say it again. When you adopt someone's child in life, you don't know what their parents, mother and father, you don't know what their grandmother, granddaddy, aunts, uncles are going through. But that don't mean their family did not love them. It don't mean that because they're in your home. It's a blessing that God allowed you to nurture someone else's child and treat them like they were your own. We all make mistakes in life. But don't prosecute anyone for making mistakes. Because I say again, you don't know what that person is going through or been through. It is truly real out in this world. And some of us had to figure it out the hard way. We had to figure it out the hard way. And I thank God for every step that I took to lead me here today. I thank God for that. Because it could have been a whole new different situation for me. I thank God for my family. because they do mean everything to me, but they're not above God. They're not above God. But at that time, I was so desperate. I wanted a family because I never knew where my family were. I never knew where they was until 1999. So I just feel that the things that I went through in the midst of, in spite of, God was still by my side. But if you ever dealing with PTSD, anxiety, and panic attacks, please consult with a doctor and get some help. Nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of. Because you're getting help not for them, you're getting help for yourself. And it's never too late to get the help that you need. It is a serious situation. PTSD is a serious situation. Anxiety is a serious situation. Panic attacks is also. You cannot do it alone. And for me, it still came full circle for me with adoption. It did. So, for those of you that sit back and want to judge someone else, please don't. Judge yourself. Judge yourself. Because it may be things that you're dealing with in life. But I judge no one. And that's because of the path that I came down through. And I know that God sits high and he looks low. And he don't judge anyone. Of their mistakes. We all want to be loved in life. We all do want to be loved in life. And trust is my biggest factor still to this day. But if I say to someone that I love them, Trust me, you can bank on that. You can bank on that. Because I don't say stuff just to be blowing it wind out of my mouth. Because in the eyes of God, we are all brothers and sisters through Christ. And when I do things in life, I get my cue from God. And you can bank on that one also. I get my cue from God. You have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And I love me some Amy. Trust me, I love me some Amy. So I want people to be aware. It don't cost anything to be kind to people. It don't cost you nothing. Because you truly don't know what they're going through. You don't. You don't know their story unless they tell you. But again, I do appreciate foster care, group homes, adoptees. Because some of y'all have the heart of gold. You do. And you have love to give. And I truly appreciate you guys in life. I really, really do. Because your heart is pure. Some of us get tangled up with people that don't mean our best interest at heart. But for the ones that have a pure heart and love to give, I commend you. I commend you. Keep doing what you're doing. Because God is looking upon you and blessing you. Because love is what we want in life. And love is what the kids need. So with that being said, welcome to Mamie's Truth Podcast. Please leave me feedback, comments, if you may. I'm also selling t-shirts because I want to donate back. I want to give back. So I'm on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel. So please leave your comments. I read them. And I like to see your thoughts about different situations that occur in life, and see, because I know I'm not the only one that deals with certain things in life. But I want to see your comments. And if I can answer you back, I will. I love all of you guys. Be blessed. Bye.